Okay, today I'm with Alan Meinster, restaurateur, owner and operator of Rossi's Bar and Grill in Hamilton and Marsilio's Kitchen in Ewing. Good afternoon, Alan. How are you? How is your family?
I'm doing wonderful. Everybody's home. Uh, just like everybody else, we're spending more time together than we've ever spent before. I think I'm on my 5th Saturday night off, and that's more Saturday nights that I've taken off in 35 years in the restaurant business.
And that's a long time. And you have 2 restaurants. Can you tell us a little bit about each restaurant, Alan?
Yes, I came right out of college, and I was lucky enough to be part of a purchase of Marsilio's Kitchen in Chambersburg, an Italian section of Trenton, New Jersey. And I've owned Marsilio's for 35 years. And then 5+ years ago, I went into a joint venture partnership with one of my closest friends, Mike Rossi, whose family's owned Rossi's Bar and Grill since 1933. It's a family-owned bar and grill. It was probably one of the first sports bars in Trenton back in 1933, right? It was actually speakeasy when they started. They didn't have, it was prohibition.
And are both of those restaurants open, or are they closed? Are they open for takeout only? What are you doing?
Richard, we got an email from a close friend in Italy on March 11th, and that email was very explicit of what they were experiencing and how many people were dying and how quick it was spreading. I came back to the restaurant. 11th was a weekday, around maybe Tuesday. I worked Wednesday. I saw people sort of, taking it for granted and really not taking it seriously. I had pulled bar stools away from the bars, and we were cleaning up and sanitizing around every table that left. And the staff just couldn't keep up with the responsibility. People, as it got crowded around the restaurant, people started bringing bar stools back to the bar. And half the crowd was concerned and observing, and the other half of the crowd was like, this is not real, it's all blown out and it's exaggerated. And by Friday, I said, we can't provide a safe atmosphere right now with the information we're getting for our staff and ourselves. My partner is, 68 years old. I had some existing health issues, and I probably am compromised in a COVID scenario. I said, the safest thing to do for everybody, the customers, the staff, ourselves, is just to close. And I think we were the first restaurant. Saturday night, we closed fully, both restaurants, every aspect of it, Saturday the 14th.
Well, that's like 3 days before the state mandate, right?
We did. We closed on Saturday night the 14th. I had a conversation with the staff, heartbreaking conversation with the staff, and said, listen, unemployment's going to get crowded fast. You guys do what you can to get on unemployment. If you need any help from us, just let us know. We'll work the computers for you. We worked with the staff, with the computers, getting them on the rolls as quick as possible.
So both are closed, or are they open for takeout?
No, both restaurants are still fully closed.
Fully closed.
We're just patiently watching, trying to understand the gravity of the responsibility of employing people in a COVID atmosphere and how we provide a safe atmosphere for them to go home, how we trace them going back from their house back into our restaurant with other people who are willing to come out and work. There's just so many different dynamics of the matrix. We just are not comfortable yet opening up. It is definitely something we're talking about every day, but right now we're not.
Okay. On the financial end, have you applied for any of these stimulus relief programs, whether it be the SBA disaster loan grant program or the New Jersey EDA, any of those programs?
We applied right away for the $10,000 disaster relief money, and we hope that we'll see that soon. We haven't yet, and we also applied at both restaurants for the PP payroll protection money. And we applied through a bank that we did business with. We also applied to a bank that was a smaller community bank. They have been unbelievably efficient. They've been working day and night. They've worked weekends. I see emails from this bank at 11:30 on a Friday night and a Saturday night. They're working on Sundays, the back of the house staff. They're in conversation. They're letting us know all the time where the loan application is, at what process, if it's been accepted, when it will be funded. We've had an unbelievably positive experience with the bank that we're dealing with.
That's the small community bank you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm curious if the first bank was a larger bank, because our firm banks with Wells Fargo, and we applied to them, and we really have got nothing but a lot of lip service from them. You know?
Yeah, I know that they're overwhelmed. The big banks with millions of customers are probably having a tougher time. We went to Berkshire Bank, and Berkshire Bank has been unbelievably helpful and professional the whole way. We always felt like we knew what was going on and where in the queue we were. We haven't closed a loan yet. We haven't taken any money yet.
Right.
But we do have a real sense of security that in that first rollout of money, we're in the queue.
Well, today the Senate just confirmed the second wave, so hopefully they'll put some more money in the pot there.
It's so important, because when we were thinking about taking it or not taking it, because we know once we take it, you have to get the payroll up and going right away. And that would be a real problem if the restaurants are still closed and not even able to accept people inside the restaurant.
There's been a lot of news lately about restaurateurs examining their insurance policies, particularly the business interruption section, and now going and applying for business interruption based on not the virus, but on a mandated closure by the government. Have you looked at your policy at all?
I spoke to my insurance broker because I do live a few doors down from another very well-known restaurateur with a very well-known restaurant, and he did put a claim in right away. And I talked to my insurance broker that I've used for years, and he said, listen, a lot of my customers are putting insurance claims in, and within 24 hours of the claim, the insurance companies are sending back denials, because that's
right.
legally their position. So you put the claim in, you get a denial, and there it is. And if in some crazy turn of events, the government forces insurance companies to pay out some pandemic type of forced closure, then you start the process of who's getting paid for what losses and what their coverage was. Everybody has coverage, but nobody has a coverage that will, force one of their companies to pay. And my broker told me, he said, listen, this has been gone through on every angle by the insurance companies over the history of insurance companies. Nobody has enough reserves to pay the amount of losses that are lost in the hospitality industry. If you force and legislate insurance companies to pay the hospitality industry, we won't have insurance companies going forward next year. Right. So it'll break that industry.
But on the other hand, if you don't help the restaurants, maybe with an interruption insurance, we won't have restaurants to go to either. So I'm not saying let's put the insurance companies out of business, but maybe the government needs to consider the bailout that they gave to the airlines to put some of that $50 billion in the coffers of the insurance companies and help them cover some of these policies.
I would never argue that point, and I would support it 100%, but then it would be a whole nother round of backup funding to fund the insurance companies, to fund the hospitality industry and the other industries that are affected the same way.
Yeah.
It's a big number.
It is a big number, but the restaurant industry is a big number too. And I know a lot of the associations are now, petitioning Washington for some help and some relief when it comes to the insurance. We'll see what happens. That's all.
Yeah, listen, that would be wonderful. We've got an unbelievable amount of losses, and we don't have a clear sight, clear end in sight. So,
but during this time that you're closed down, Alan, are you making any changes to your restaurant, whether they be physical, operational, concept driven? So when you do reopen, you'll reopen maybe a little differently.
We've been doing a lot of work with tearing apart the menu, looking at costs, looking at popularity on specific items and replacing items on the menu. I'm not sure we're getting ready to do any type of new concept change in either of the restaurants per se, because when people do come back, if you've got a successful restaurant like Marsilio's that's been going for it since 1951, and a restaurant like Rossi since 1933, those people are going to need comfort in their life, and they're going to want exactly what was there before this all started. And if you take things away from the reason that they were your loyal patrons before, what did you accomplish then? We were just looking really at pricing and making sure that the recipe cards are consistent and they're locked down. And we are looking at a reopening plan, which would start with a trimmed down version of the same menu, and looking at a way to slowly reopen the restaurant in phases where we don't open up the whole restaurant at one time. We open up maybe a third of the restaurant, you know, is depending on what is specified by the governor and what we have to do from a space standpoint. But from a menu standpoint, I don't see the full menu opened up on, you know, day one, because we don't know what the restaurants are how they're going to react, that people are going to react to the restaurant being open, and how comfortable they're going to be being in there.
Yeah, that's the next question is, you know, how do you think your customer base will return? I've been to both of your restaurants, and at Rossi's you have a very large bar. Do you think that the customers are going to sit elbow to elbow like they used to at the bar, or are they going to want space between each other?
Until there's a vaccination, until everyone knows that you know, this COVID-19 situation is behind us, absolutely not. It's going to be a totally different environment. And, you know, I just think that we just have to slowly walk into the, you know, the new normal and see what people are comfortable with. Maybe there aren't seats at the bar. Maybe they're standing at the bar. And I don't know. It's the great unknown. There's no doubt about it. Everything's going to be new again. It's almost like 35 years of experience at Marsilio's is out the window, and you're going to try something totally new again.
So if you, I know we don't have a crystal ball, but if you were going to project it, what do you think the restaurant landscape is going to look like when we come out of this, when we're hopefully back to what they call normality?
It's going to be really difficult for people to survive this this period of time. There's no doubt. You know, restaurateurs are not, you know, our margins are so small. You know, people cost a lot of money to employ. There are heavy rents that people sign leases for that'll have to be renegotiated. Mortgages to, you know, the restaurants that were built recently in the last 10 years have big mortgages for the improvements. It's going to be really tough to keep a restaurant open at 70% of your volume. We need 95% of our volume in most models to make money.
Yeah.
If you're at 80%, I'm sure you're losing money. If you're at 75%, you're bleeding. I don't know how this industry moves through the next 6 months.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. A lot of restaurants will probably not reopen at all when we come out of this.
Yeah.
You mentioned before we started, you and I were talking off camera, and you mentioned about a pizza challenge or something you're having at Marsilio's.
Yeah, we're you know, we want to engage the people, our regular customer base that we're not able to see in the restaurants, and we're not seeing them at our carryout because we're not doing carryout at this moment. Even though we are expecting, when the governor releases people and feels comfortable with people moving around, when people are out of their houses, because they're not out of their houses, we think we'll open up a carry-out operation at both restaurants sometime, you know, in May, maybe at the end of May, maybe in the middle of May, I'm not sure. But for now, we want to do something with and engage our customers because they're online, they're on Facebook. So this Friday night, we're doing a Rossi's Bar and Grill and Marsilio's Kitchen Pizza Challenge. We make a Trenton-style tomato pie at Rossi's Bar and Grill, and it's very popular. Not as popular as the burger, but very popular. And we're going to make that in a home-style kit and give it. Everybody's got directions. We're hoping they're going to post their pictures of them making their own kits at home, and also posting their favorite Marsilio's memoir and Rossi's memoir. And We've got a really nice YouTube video, instructional video in the kit. And so far, so good. We launched it yesterday, and we've got a great response. I'm sure we're going to sell out because we're limiting it. It's just going to be a drive-through pickup right in front of both restaurants at either location on Friday between 3 and 6. And maybe next Friday, we'll do a Zoom pizza party and have some people all together making pizzas in their house together as a big unit. We'll expand on it next week. This is the first week launch. Next week we'll have some salads attached to it, maybe some desserts attached to it. But for this week, it's just tomato pie kits, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, what a good idea. I know the restaurants are closed. How'd you get the message out? Do you have an email list, social media? What did you use?
We used all three of them. We have a constant contact list that we have. We have Open Tables Fishbowl that we use. We also use our Instagram, so Facebook. Yeah, you could never do this without the technology of today. And of course, a 21-year-old daughter, or sorry, she's 23 now, and a 25 with a digital media degree from Marist. So,
well, that helps. That helps, right?
If it was just me, we'd be doomed.
Yeah, we would be doomed. We'd probably be delivering postcards if it was you and I, right?
I do know how to stretch out the pizza, but it would just be me stretching out pizzas, delivering a few in my car.
Well, I'm going to ask you a two-part question, Alan. What advice, if any, would you like to share with your fellow restaurateur? That's the first part. And the second part is, what would you like to say to your customer base?
First of all, be safe, be smart. Have to listen to the scientists and listen to the people that are telling us that it is a serious risk. I do know 2 people in the industry that have gotten to a very sick situation already, that have been put on ventilators already in Mercer County, right here. So the risk is real. And right now, we're all working because that's what we do. We work, we have bills, and we have families we feel we need to provide for. But we do have to take every necessary precaution possible for ourselves and our employees, because we're all one. Right now we don't have customers we're dealing with at the restaurant, but I am trying to keep my guys busy, especially the back of the house staff that's not on unemployment. I've got a couple different programs that I'm doing with my, I've got 100 employees and about 50 of them are back of the house. So those 50 people are really starting to feel the pinch. And I have a few different things that I'm doing every week to keep that group of people working and doing stuff. The little pizza project is just fun, but it's got some hours attached to it for back of the house staff. And I also put together a small landscaping business where we're just doing some maintenance and getting some guys out helping customers and people that I know, just so they're out working, because without unemployment and a stimulus program like the front of the house has, the back of the house is really challenged. And they're scared because they don't know when they're specialized employees. They have a specialization. They're kitchen staff, and they don't know when their industry's coming back.
How about your customers? What would you like to say to your customers?
Customers you miss, they're the ones that they're the reasons we all do it. It's for the conversation table side. It's keeping up with old friends. That's why we do the 16-hour days. It's not the pay. It's never going to be the pay in this business. It's the love of people, and we're all missing people. We're missing the conversation. Talking through a mask to another person, you can't even see them smile. It's the saddest thing, right?
Yeah, you're right about that.
We wanted to talk about that Hospitality Works program.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit. I noticed you do a little community service there, and I was looking at your website and I read about the Hospitality Works program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think this is a business model that can be adapted by all of us. It came out of a conversation with a doctor that I've known for 35 years. And, I look forward to every opportunity I have to just get 5-10 minutes of his time in the restaurant, because he's just charming gentleman. And as soon as this hit and he saw the restaurant close down, he gave me a call and he said, "Alan, this is Dr. And I said, "Hey, Doc, how you doing?" He goes, "Listen," he goes, "I feel terrible about your business and your industry. And, you know, I've known you since you were a young kid out of college." He goes, "I want to buy $500 in gift certificates and just, you know, and I, you know, just, you know, something, just, you know, help out. What can I do?" And I said to myself, my goodness, you know, I've made these unbelievable friends in 35 years at Marsilio's. And this one friend who called up is one of like my absolute favorites of the entire group of 100,000 people you meet in this business. I said, he's calling to say, how can I help you? I told him, I said, Doc, let me get back to you right now. There's a lot going on. And if I think of something, I said, I'll give you a ring as soon as I do. But, you know, I'm really touched. Thank you. So I sat around and I said, listen, I think there's going to be a lot of people around that are going to call restaurateurs up and say, listen, what can I do and how can I help? So I started this little tiny page called Hospitality Works on our website. And I got a call, right after the doctor, a friend of mine that runs Meals on Wheels. Her name is Sasa Montana. She runs Mercer County Meals on Wheels. And she was really upset. She's had the job as executive director for a while. And she said, Alan, she goes, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, I've got all these volunteers that deliver food every day to all of the 300 clients that we have that are housebound. And they're old and they shouldn't be out during this COVID and they're going to get nervous and I'm not going to have people to deliver food. I said, well, Sas, don't worry. I said, I've got an idea. I got a couple donations from people like the doctor and other people that called me up. I said, I've got this little account going and I will take that money and I'll just take some of the servers and some of the back of the house people that would like to work, and we're going to get them background checks at Meals on Wheels, and they'll be your backup volunteers. And we did that. We got other people into and we prepared food for the Meals on Wheels people. We did some things behind the scenes. We still have people there every day delivering food. And then all of a sudden I got another call from another friend who says, you know, I want to send some food over to the hospital for the whole department. Hot food. They're getting sandwiches. They're getting pizzas. And I want to send them something delicious from Marsilio's. I said, I'm on it. So I sent food for 50 people and food for another 50 people to take home and carry out containers from them to take home to their families. And the Meals on Wheels went to medical Meals on Wheels. So I was able to take the Hospitality Works money, the donation people want, and put people that I have, 100 people. And I sort of look for the people that need it the most, who's not on unemployment yet, who's not received stimulus. I do know exactly every one of my staff, who's receiving money, what type of situation they're in, does their husband work, do they live in a household with other people, trying to just determine where the great need is. And the people that need it the most are the ones that are at Meals on Wheels, the ones that are doing the drop-off tonight to Robert Wood Johnson Hospital, the people that are going to do the drop-off and the preparation for St. Francis Hospital. Next week, we do a couple more hospitals. We're going to do all the hospitals and we'll start doing nursing homes. As long as the donations come in, we'll do nursing homes. We'll do everybody who's working hard in a really, really difficult situation. And we'll do it all with donations of time, donations of money, and people that are just, you know, good Samaritans.
That's wonderful, you know, and, you know, we all hope that none of the residuals of this virus carry on through a second phase, but we do hope the residuals of community service and helping one another, they carry on when we go back into a normal environment. So, you know, Alec, we spent a lot of time this morning. I want to thank you for getting on here and talking with us a little bit. I hope this, you know, ends very soon for you, for your family, for your restaurants, for all America. And all I could just say is keep the faith. That's it.
Let me say one thing. None of these ideas that I have are brand new. I've been watching Jose Andres the last 4 or 5 years. He should get a Nobel Peace Prize. What he has done as a chef, as a leader for the hospitality industry, it's unbelievable.
It is. It is. I've been following as well.
So I saw him in Miami at this last Food Network food show, and you know, talking about what Puerto Rico was like, and everything that he's doing should be just reproduced by every willing and able restaurateur and person in this country. But so I can't take credit for any of the things that I'm doing. I'm just really taking what Jose Andres has done and just doing it in our little community.
You can't take credit for the idea, but you can get credit for the effort. So you're doing it, and that's the most important thing. Good luck to you, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. And really, I look forward to the email every day. It's wonderful, and it's helpful.
Thanks, Alan. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.